Let's proceed to the pros and cons of differentiated instruction. Let's begin to its pros or its advantages. Research shows that differentiated instruction is effective for high ability students as well as students with mild to severe disabilities. And when students are given more options on how they can learn material, they take on more responsibility for their own learning. So this means that in a differentiated instruction, students become more responsible for their own learning. This also increases engagement because when students are being taught lessons that are targeted at their needs, they are more likely to engage in the learning materials. So it increases engagement. It is also student-centered because this ensures that classes are focused on the needs of the students and not the needs of the teacher. It also strives for equity because in a differentiated classroom, the class is more equitable because of the teacher gives every student a due consideration for what their needs really are. This also gives students a choice because a differentiated classroom allows students to learn in ways that they prefer. And if we give students some choice about how they want to learn, we empower them to learn in ways that they prefer. This can dramatically improve a student's learning experience in the classroom. So those are the pros or the advantages of a differentiated instruction. So let's proceed to the cons or the disadvantages of a differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction is time consuming and resource intensive because it requires more work during lesson planning and many teachers struggle to find the extra time in their schedule. And the learning curve can be steep and some schools lack professional development resources. So it is really time consuming and resource intensive. Critics argue that there isn't enough research to support the benefits of a differentiated instruction outweighing the added prep time. Differentiated instruction also cannot be done for every student because it is unrealistic to differentiate instruction for a whole class of students that each have their own learning style. There are not enough hours in the day to vary lessons for all the students in a class, so it cannot be done for every student. It is also unrealistic in the context of standardized tests because most teachers have to prepare students for standardized tests, and standardized test is the exact opposite of a differentiated classroom. Because if we are teaching in varied ways, we're not actually preparing students for their test. So it is unrealistic in the context of standardized test. Students also need to learn in a different ways in a differentiated instruction, which is very a disadvantage for them. Because if we differentiated learning so students can learn in ways that they personally prefer, we may be doing our students a disservice or disadvantage. Because, for example, if a student says they prefer to learn via movies than books, then they'll never become better at reading, or they will give more focus in learning to the things that they prefer to learn and disregard those things that they don't want to learn. So they will have a hard time in learning other things that they don't want to learn. So it is a disadvantage. So those are the cons or the disadvantages of a differentiated instruction. So here is a simplified view form or in a tabular presentation of the pros and cons of a differentiated instruction. You may take some screenshots if you wanted to, And thank you for listening, everyone. Bye bye.